Hello, Aries, and welcome to your June forecast. It's great to see everyone again, and I can't wait to see what kind of energy, information, and insight is coming through for your sign this month. Now, as those of you know that follow me from month to month, I like to begin every reading with a little bit of channeled information, and I arrived at that channeled information by meditating on your sign just prior to the reading, and then I engage in something called automatic writing. And the automatic writing is a chance for me to see, feel, and hear things that are associated with your sign and give you a message based on that. Your message this month is really to shine as brightly as you can. And in particular, I want you to use your voice and to use your energy in such a way that you are actually standing out. You're making a difference. You're making a splash. Don't mute your light. There's room enough for every star in the sky, and there is a time and a place for each to shine. This is your time. And so if there's someone that is either uncomfortable with that or tries to make you be less than what you either feel that you need to be or have been pushed to kind of be by your soul, by the sort of course of events that are happening to you right now, then you have been given a gift to know that that person is not really an advocate. This month it's important to shine, okay? So let's take a look and see how that ties into some of the other themes for this month. We'll now get into the card reading itself. So let me give the cards a good shuffle. And for the new folks here, I just want to welcome you, and everyone that's been coming back from month to month, thank you as well for all of your support, because without you, I would not be here. What I'm going to do here in just a second is pull a full Celtic Cross to look at the energy for the month. Then I'll expand the forecast to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. So let's begin. At this point, I like to remain quiet and just focus on the cards themselves, and then I will speak to each of their meanings. Just a moment. So in addition to this, I like to also pull a catalyst card, and for me the catalyst card will help tie together all the disparate pieces and also help give you something to really focus on. Sometimes it ties into the channeled information, sometimes it just connects the thread here of what we're about to see in front of us. And so I see two themes coming through, kind of laid out nicely here with the catalyst and your crowning card. The first theme here is one of patience, and the second one is one of change. What I really like with this death card is the emphasis is on rebirth. It's on beginnings, and you see a beautiful phoenix rising from the ashes. So when I look at the energy of these two cards put together, I get a really good feeling for what this month can bring to you. Whether it's challenging or very satisfactory, the outcome is going to be something that's pushing you in a better direction. So for those that are feeling happy, this could be the receipt of good news after a period of stagnation. So perhaps you've been looking for work, nothing's been happening, and you get a nudge this month that something's available. For those of you that might be feeling like you just haven't been making the progress that you'd like somewhere in your life, whether it's for those of you in school trying to break through and understand something, those of you in retirement trying to get over perhaps an issue in your body, this could be a breakthrough month for you. And it's after a period of disappointment. Some of you may receive that what feels like a disappointment or a setback this month, and then I want you to keep in mind that it's almost like a revolving door. One shuts, but then quickly after another opens. And instead of seeing it as a binary on or off, I want you to see it as something that's constantly moving, like the Wheel of Fortune, like any sort of wheel or vehicle. And this is simply an event that takes you to the next event. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's something that you didn't expect or didn't want, but it's always moving you forward. That's what you can cling to this month. It really doesn't matter which end of the spectrum you are, you're making good progress. And I want you to, if you'd like, to meditate this month on the power of the phoenix, one that can overcome any obstacle in its path, one that always rises above, stronger, brighter, and better for whatever it experienced. Now that we know that this is sort of a phoenix month or a death and rebirth month for you, let's look at each component so that you can better prepare and harness that power of the phoenix. As we look at your central card, it's the King of Pentacles and it's reversed. Now, for those of you that are trying to do better in your life at anything, that's actually a good card. It's a card of internal development, and sometimes it's learning, sometimes it's just listening, consuming, and evaluating things. So I like the King of Pentacles when it's about trying to understand, trying to amass knowledge, and trying to overcome things. There is a flip side, especially with the card in a reverse state, which is a reminder that you want to try not to overdo that. And so that can be thinking too much, it can be doing too much. For those of you that maybe are trying to improve your fitness, this can be about like going to the gym 7 nights a week, not giving yourself a rest. You want to have balance in everything that's going on. And as I look at your deep past, one place that I'm seeing a little bit lack of balance for some of you is your relationship or the fun in your life. So work-life balance, that's something that I see that might be missing for some of you. Or just if you look at your most intimate relationships, whether they're friendships, partners, or just how you're feeling about yourself as well, there needs to be a little bit more time and energy put into, again, sort of having fun, listening to others, and again, taking the focus off yourself a little bit so that you're not forgetting about everyone that's been around and helping you all the way through this journey. And to that end, crossing that center card was the Hermit. And although I just mentioned all the beautiful introspective pieces to the King of Pentacles in reverse, when I'm pairing it with the Hermit, it's saying don't overdo it. And if there's someone in your life that might be pushing themselves into work or escaping into other things, what you can do as we look at this Two of Cups card is try to be there for them and check them if this is something that doesn't make sense. Try to take the energy and bring it to a place of joy, of irreverence, because sometimes if you get too serious, you lose track of what's important in life and you can start to kind of go in a negative energy space. Now, as I'm looking at the energy that's easily accessible to most of you at the very beginning of the month, we have the Nine of Cups. I love this card because it typically is associated with celebration, something good coming through. So again, even if there was something that you find challenging, I think the beginning of the month presents an opportunity for a little reprieve in that, something fun to happen. It is a card of extremes though. So if there are any of you that are trying to fight addictions or to kind of get rid of habits, and we talked about that with this card, then you want to watch that you're not triggered within the first week of the month, because there could be something that comes through where you're just feeling a little bit out of balance. And so be kind with yourself if you have any sort of relapse or if you fall back. Again, be patient with yourself and just do your best to get back to where you were before. For others of you, again, if you were pulling too much internally, this card is saying say yes to any sort of social activities that are on your calendar. I want you to make sure that you have a chance to celebrate other people's success, to be there for friends who have always been there for you, and also just to kind of get out of your day-to-day routine, do something fun for yourself. Now, as we look at the energy towards the first to second weeks of the month, and getting into probably one of your triggering events this month, we have the Eight of Swords. And for me, whenever I see this one, it's a card that can be muted simply by bringing whatever fear you have into the light. It's usually a lack of transparency. It's usually a fear of maybe being out of control. And so what you can do is sort of think to yourself, what's the worst case scenario that would happen if I couldn't control this situation? Or what is it that I'm afraid to talk to somebody about? And why am I afraid to talk to them about it? Go into your fears a little bit, maybe ask for help if you need to. The good news is, as I look at the rest of the cards, I feel like this is mostly an emotional card and it's not necessarily based in the fact that you need to worry. It might be because just the energy of change can be overwhelming. And so sometimes we worry, can I handle it? Am I in control? I actually love this Eight of Swords because it shows that lack of control, that lack of autonomy in your life. So I think for you, getting as open and as honest as you can be with yourself and with others when it comes to issues like that, it's going to be very helpful. And if there's anything that's going on, just ask enough questions so that you feel like you understand it. The best way to get rid of fear is through information. So if you are thrown something in your life that is scary. It could be a diagnosis from a doctor. It could be an assignment from a teacher, from a coworker. It could be someone just thinking that you can handle something and not really giving you the guidance that you need. Raise your hand and say, hey, I would love to do this, but we need to talk a little bit more before we jump into it. And that goes for any sort of decision making in your life. Now, on to the positive. When we look at the ego card for this month, it's the Ace of Wands, and that is a great card for coming up with new ideas, for being feeling your sort of vital energy take a push towards the positive. So again, I really do feel like this fiery phoenix energy is coming through loud and clear and very, very strong for you this month. So what does this mean for you? For those of you that might be feeling like, if you have your own business and you've been feeling like things haven't quite been going the way you want, take some risks this month. Try some different things. They can be calculated risks so that you're not putting your business completely in a place of vulnerability, but you could try a different sale. You could try introducing something in a different way, shift up your marketing. Trust your ideas. They're being led through your intuition this month, and it looks like there's some great power and strength in that. If you're at school or in an office, this is about speaking up, which is what I was talking about in the channeled information. There's a reason you're supposed to shine this month. Your ideas are really valid and really strong. Just like that dog that's barking outside, it's trying to get attention, and I think that's really important for you. Don't be afraid to speak up, to be heard, and remember that vision that I had at the beginning, which was that canopy of stars. There's enough room, there's enough light for everybody, so you don't have to mute your light this month. Now, as we look at your environment card, we have the Hierophant card in reverse. This is about trying to find a space in sometimes an environment that may not understand who you are or what you're trying to do. For those of us on a spiritual path, this can be friends and family members that are either very, very conservative or maybe not as supportive in what we're trying to explore. For those of us that might just be ready for the next big thing, this is showing that you've outgrown, or that you've it's time to shed your skin. If I'm kind of getting an image of a snake getting to the next phase, and it has to get rid of its old skin. So who it was and what it looked like is not going to be the same as what it's becoming. And so you're in that sort of metamorphosis stage this month. A different image, if you don't like snakes, is a butterfly, going from a caterpillar into a butterfly. So this is that weird time in between where you're just sort of knowing that it's coming, getting ready for that change, and sometimes it happens just like that. So just be prepared for that so that you can fly like that butterfly. Okay, as we look at hopes, fears, and areas again that might be sort of pushing your buttons this month, I want you to try to do as much active listening as possible and just entertain other people's points of view, even if on an intuitive level, a logical level, or for some of you, maybe even a procedural level, it doesn't make sense. Because just as I said, there's room for more than one star in the sky, the same is true for them. And so they could actually strengthen your idea or your message by adding to it. Doesn't mean you have to take everything that they have to say to heart, but there could be some really good learnings from others around you. So whenever I see a court card in reverse in the suit of wands, there's a general warning there to stay open, stay receptive, and to, at the very least, simply say, let me sleep on that. Or, I hear what you're saying. I'm going to give it consideration and we can revisit that. Or, well, yeah, let's talk again tomorrow. You can always delay a little bit, but try not to say no, and always try to kind of appreciate and value that person's point of view and say, thank you so much for speaking up. I know that probably took a lot of courage, and I can see you thought about this, and I think it deserves a bigger conversation later. So let's look now at your outcome card. I like it a lot. It's the 10 of Pentacles. It was in the reverse state. So when I see this card in reverse, the first thing that I want to say is really focus on what's important to you this month. Stay grounded in your purpose, and going back again to resources, time, energy, money, and how to kind of share this. What would be most important this month is looking at the people you love the most and seeing, are they feeling like they're part of your life? Are they feeling valued? Are they feeling appreciated? Because when I see 10 of Cups or 10 of Pentacles, it goes back to sort of domestic life and intimate relationships. It's a little bit more practical with the Ten of Pentacles. It definitely applies to those of you that are in marriages and partnerships, business partnerships included, because you need to make sure, I like the way these two are illustrated. I'm going to show them to the camera here. It's always about you and your partner, you and your company, you and the people around you. And so relationships, even though we're not talking definitely just about love this month, there's a lot of other things that have come up, but relationships are probably your third theme here, which is just make sure that everybody is on the same mental page and that you say thank you, that you use gratitude as much this month. And for those of you that are feeling like other people are not taking you seriously, or perhaps are taking you for granted, you want to also raise your hand and make sure that that doesn't continue. Keep that in check. Let's take a look now at your health card, the first part of the extended forecast. Health includes mind, body, and spirit. And as we look at mind, body, and spirit, there may be one message or a message that connects to all parts of that, but let's see what the cards have to say. Your health card this month is really not to overextend yourself, not to do too much of anything. And that goes back to the King of Pentacles reverse. This card was also reversed when it came through. So with Easy Does It, you can meditate with Archangel Raphael, but the most important thing here is moderation. So take it easy on yourself. I would say this really applies to sleep as well. So make sure that you're getting what is needed for your body. It's going to be different for every person, but adequate sleep, adequate rest, good nutrition, and that's going to put you in a place where you can handle whatever challenges have come through this month for you. Otherwise, you could be at that place where you give into fear, you give into agitation, and we didn't see that many swords this month, so I don't necessarily think you have to go down that path, and I don't want you to. Try to stay open, try to stay rested. This is going to put you in the best possible place for everything we just talked about. Let's expand the forecast now to look at your wealth. For me, wealth is not just money, but also opportunities and the attitudes around all the resources in your life, which can be your time, your energy, and your money. So for that, we have this iceberg card. This is a card of revealing, and for some of you, trying to overcome challenges. If I were to compare this to a tarot card, it would probably be the Seven of Pentacles. That's what I quickly associated with it, because it's one where there's growth and there's recovery, but there's a need to maintain and to cultivate that momentum. So don't give up on anything that you're starting to do this month, even if you're not getting all the signs that you need. Also, for those of you that are creative, artistic, and trying to put something else out there in the world, know that it takes people a while to see everything that you see. You have this deep knowledge of something, and some other people may just be looking at the surface. Give them time to understand what you're trying to put out there, and perhaps you need to show them different views of the project. And for those of you that could be going through a little bit of difficulty with emotions, don't let that affect your work life. So if you need to ask for help, if you are feeling overwhelmed at work, then I see that there's a lot of people around you. There's some great resources around you. So this is a month where you just simply need to speak up. Just as I said in the channeled information, that can include saying, hey, I need some assistance with this, or, do you know how to do this? There's nothing wrong with asking for help. It's when you sort of try to take it on yourself that you feel like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. So ask for help whenever appropriate this month. And if you're trying to get people to see the big picture, you may need to try showing them different angles of the same situation. Try different ways of communicating. Don't just try the same thing again and again. I think all of this will help you. Try not to feel overwhelmed. That's the main thing when I see iceberg and submerged. Ask for help if you need it. And with the Seven of Pentacles, know that you're starting to make positive trajectory. Keep that up. Cultivate it. It's like a garden. All right. Now let's take a look at, we looked at health, wealth. Let's look at your love and relationship card. And whenever I look at this, it can include personal relationships, but also friendships. So let's see what the main message is, or what the main area of focus is, and then we can jump from there. And we have rejuvenation. So isn't it interesting this month how there's a lot of contrasting sort of ups and downs? So where, there may be a little bit of blockage when we're looking at your money, I don't see it happening so much with your relationships. which is good. And what's interesting with this is sort of a chakra deck. We're looking at this beautiful green energy that's going everywhere. That's healing, that's growth. Then we see this wonderful blue and violet energy. So what we're starting to see this month is taking things to a higher level. And I think as long as you keep the communication open, keep your empathy open, I would say both areas are going to help you with that, your clairvoyance and also your heart space. You're going to be in a great place for relationships. So that's where at the beginning I was saying make sure that that was like the third theme that's kind of coming through. Make sure that everyone's on the same page and that they're feeling appreciated, and that also if it could be children in your life, it could be coworkers, it could be even your family. If they're not appreciating you, try to bring that in balance this month. I think that you can do it with kindness, with communication, and with also anticipation of how to best speak to these different audiences in your life. Let's look now at your Destiny card. Destiny is that big GPS that is telling you, are you on the right path? Are you on the path that you like? And if you are, you can stick with it. If you're not, then exercise free will. This is your chance to change course if you desire to do so. So one more shuffle here is what's called for, and then we'll take a look. All right, so here we go. We have Distant Thunder, and if you read this card, it says clear the air. So if there's anything going on in your life where you feel like, I should try to fix this, I shouldn't let this go. It could be as plain and simple as there's something you notice in your house, maybe a leaky roof, maybe your car, there's a weird sound, you think I need to get this looked at, get it looked at, get it taken care of this month. If there's a relationship in your life with someone that you really care about and you feel like maybe something is wrong, don't wait for the other person to come through. Take the first step this month, pick up the phone, take the higher road as well. And in doing so, you diffuse this coming storm. And that's what I see. Now, there's a cool part to this for those of you that are ready to make a splash. This is about you really going out with a bang. So this can be a fortuitous card if you want to be a disruptor and try to come out with a message, an idea, a new sort of branding, or a new version of yourself that takes people by surprise and helps them see that there's more than what meets the eye. So if that's the case, then get ready for this and try to prepare a few people in your life, because you don't want people to sort of be doubled over by, wait, where did this come from? Where's this change coming from? And always sort of ground it in why you're making that decision, help them get okay with it, and then know that if that's what you want to do, I see big changes on the horizon. So just be clear in your purpose, be clear in your communications, and remember transparency was one of the things that we saw in the main spread, and that's something that's going to help you in your future because this was in the near future space. So since we're starting with going back to some of the messages here, I want to do a quick recap of everything we talked about. When I was channeling your energy this month, what I really saw was that there's room for many, many voices and many ideas. You don't have to mute anything to appease other people because they're afraid of your ideas or because you feel that it's not your place. If there's something that needs to be said, say it. Do it in a respectful way, but get it out there. Don't be afraid to use transparent communication, speaking from the heart, and really sticking to the facts. And if you do that, I don't feel like you're going to be led astray. So now let's look at the cards here and quickly recap what was coming through with the cards. And at the center, we have the King of Pentacles card in reverse, which is saying that it's okay to do a little bit of work on yourself, but don't get so self-involved or so focused on yourself that you cut yourself off from the people that love you. Likewise, if there's someone in your life that's sort of exhibiting that habit, try to shift them out of that. On the bright side, it is a good month for knowledge acquisition and for training. I feel like you'll get a lot out of it, and it could affect some really positive changes in your life. We talked about relationships overall, and that it's important this month to celebrate the little successes. Take time for family, take time for social events. Try not to go to extremes too much, but I do think it's okay to have some fun, especially if you've had a stressful few months and you're wondering, how am I going to get through this? What's next? Remember what I said about death and rebirth. It's a wheel that's constantly moving, or it's like a revolving door where as soon as one closes, another one opens, and then it continues again. So see it as just a moment in time that gets you to the next destination. Ask questions if you need it this month. This tied in really nicely to that iceberg card that we pulled up later. Don't let little things get away from you, and that also ties into the destiny card. If you speak up sooner than later, then you diffuse the coming storm. Great month for ideation. Remember that includes other people's ideas too. Stay grounded this month, make time for meditation, and if there's a need for you to get outside of a very restrictive environment, get back into nature. That's something that I didn't mention the first time when we saw this card. The outcome is success this month. We have 10 of Pentacles. Even in reverse, it's still very positive. Just remember to keep the relationship component intact. As long as the people around you know that you care about them, then you can count on them for support in whatever it is you're trying to bring about. Now, as we look at your catalyst, again, be patient. Know that change doesn't happen overnight. As we look at your health card, try to take it easy. Take care of yourself, nurture yourself, especially when it comes to sleep and diet. When it comes to wealth, don't let things get ahead of you. Don't get yourself into a situation where you can't manage it. So ask for assistance. If you're feeling emotionally taxed or challenged, then lean on someone else and let them know. Also, it might be hard for other people to understand things as deeply as you do. An iceberg goes much deeper than the surface, and so let people know that there's more to a situation than meets the eye. Overall, relationships are in a very good place this month. You can heal, you can transform, and you can move things to a positive place. I only got one swords card here, which shows me that I'm not seeing a lot of conflict. The only thing that I see is maybe some fear, but I think you can overcome that. And the most important thing is pay attention to your intuition. If you think you need to do something, do it. If you need to say something, say it sooner than later. I love clear the air because that message is so important on so many levels. What you're effectively doing is going in and cutting that feeling that you're out of control. You take away the fear, you take away the negativity, and you let that other person know that you care enough to check in with them. So that brings our monthly reading to a close, but if you'd ever like to reach out and discuss something that's going on, we pulled some big cards here, like with that iceberg card, the thunder card. I know there might be some big shifts going on. I'm here for you, and I'd be happy to do a reading for you, a private reading. The first link will show how to schedule one, and you can check out the rates and availability and see if that makes sense for you. If not, another way that you could just give back for the free videos that I do every month is through the second link. And there's a donation link that will go to my website, and you can do something one time or on a recurring basis as little as $1. And if there's any video that I've done that you like and you just want to give back, that $1 makes everything possible. The cards, the internet, and all the costs associated with production. So I don't ask for anything, but I put it out there as a voluntary thing. And for those of you that feel moved to do so with your heart and generosity, I thank you, because it makes a big, big difference in just being able to do this from month to month. The third link is a way to stay in touch. I'm on a lot of different social networks in addition to YouTube, mainly Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, but I also have a newsletter. So if you'd like to keep in touch, I would love for you to join me there if that's something that, again, you'd like to do. Now my most enjoyable part of the video is this, which is every month I like to say thank you and also give us something bigger to think about for the month ahead. So first of all, thank you. Thank you for the love, the support, all of the work that you're doing on yourselves. That's inspiring me to continue doing what I'm doing, and all of the great comments. Even though I don't have time to connect on each of the threads, I do read the comments and they help me make future videos based on what you're saying. Now, this month, I'm going to challenge you guys to focus on, the channeled information for you was making sure that you were able to shine, that you used your voice. I want you this month to do something that you can to mentor someone. We talk a lot about light. I've talked about a chain of light, lighthouses, etc. This month, I want you to be that spark for someone else. Help them, help inspire them, or help them take their light and kindle it to something that's even brighter than they thought it could be. So I try to do that for you. Maybe you could try to do that for someone else. And through reaching out and giving to someone else, you're going to get get that back tenfold. All right. Thank you so much for the work that you're doing. Thank you so much for supporting one another and also for supporting me. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Much love and light always.